Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together. Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from Channel 5 studio in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes, Start Your Morning Right with your hosts, April Martinez and Desani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I am Isani Caetano. Good morning.
Good morning, Belize, and good morning, Isani. Good morning.
My dear friend. It is Monday, the 17th of
is
February.
Monday.
And time feels as if though it's flying by so quickly. We're done the past the mid-month line already.
I feel like this was not the feeling in January. January was just
as if this was
trying to be a whole year. But yes, you're absolutely right. February is pretty much done.
Yeah.
And I think with so many exciting events that are unfolding throughout the month of February leading up to March, we're all anticipating March 12th. It just feels like it's going by too quickly.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I've been extremely busy.
I believe you. I believe you. The media will be busy. I mean, we're always busy, right?
Yeah.
But for this time,
more so this time of year than, in other months and in other years.
Indeed,
right?
indeed. But,
yes.
There's a lot to discuss. We have a lot of topics to get into. So let's just jump into what's buzzing for this morning. All right, as we mentioned, Isani, it's all things politics, really, and it's going to be the topic of discussion for the next 3 weeks or so. And of course,
I would anticipate that it's going to be more than just the next 3 weeks.
More than just the next 3 weeks.
The next 3 weeks is the build-up to the day. But then you're still going to have the swearing of the oath. You're still going to have the assignments of ministerial portfolios, CEOs, and all of these other things. So yes,
Budget.
This is going to be an ongoing, exactly.
Yes.
It's going to be an ongoing conversation, one that I'm looking forward to.
I am looking forward to. I enjoy, listen, as much as we talk about politics in this country and the ins and outs of democracy and so forth, I do enjoy talking about it.
Okay.
I want to know. I want to be in the know.
So let's have that conversation.
Let's talk about it.
What's buzzing this morning is the wishy-washiness that I keep talking about, right? You can't have someone or a group of individuals who today they're one thing, tomorrow they're something else. And I say that in the context of video and of course images that are going around in the wake of yesterday's convention.
Yes.
Now we'll speak about the convention in our Eye on the News segment, but for the purpose of what's buzzing, we're focusing on Gladys Paredes this morning, right? That was certainly a spectacle to behold yesterday.
Yes.
Now, who's Gladys Paredes? There she is. This person at some point fairly recently was tapped by Shine Barrow to run against Patrick Faber in Colette.
Yes.
Right? And the moment that information got out to the public, well, the good old Google and Facebook sleuths and detectives.
Yes.
They brought the receipts, right? Well. They brought the receipts and said, look, but this person is a PUP a couple of years back, came on as a UDP, Shine chooses her, then lo and behold, she's at the convention yesterday, clad in her right pantrack T-shirt, right? So then I get a message that says, well, she had been removed as a candidate for the UDP a few weeks back, along with some messages that sort of corroborates the whole thing, right? But there's a lot to be asked in terms of questions regarding this whole thing.
Here she is
There's
again.
a lot to be asked, right?
Yes.
My primary question has to do with how well do the parties, well, in this particular instance, how well does the United Democratic Party, the Cheyenne Barrow faction, screen and vet its potential candidates? I think the background of an individual has to be foremost when you're looking at the eligibility of that candidacy.
Yes.
So I would want to think it's a common sense thing to say, okay, let's look at her bona fides. Let's look at where she comes from, what she stands for, and the whole package regarding this individual. And I guess at some point they may have dropped the ball and they didn't even bother to really take into serious consideration the woman's background.
I think you have to take into account as well all of the issues that have been taking place within the factions of the UDP. And I say that because while you're absolutely right, perhaps vetting is part of the process. You know, you have to really look at the person's credentials, who they supported in their past years and so forth. But with the way that the UDP has been operating within the past few months, I don't know if they have the time to do that. And I'm saying this especially now when we're going for general elections, right?
Do you believe,
yes,
let me be the devil's advocate here. Do you believe that it would have taken up sufficient time to run a Google check?
No, but you have to go beyond Google sometimes, right? And
I'm simply basing it on the fact that someone went and dug up a post.
Yes, I saw the Facebook
and
post.
It doesn't seem as if it took an inordinate period of time to come up with that response.
You're right.
I'm just saying.
I'm just trying to understand how, right? Because in my mind, with everything going on, they're like, okay, this person, this is my resume. It was the resume without the interview and without the background check, if that makes sense, right? So I look at this person, I see their credentials, great. I'm going to put this person as my standard bearer. And I don't know if that's what happened. I'm just simply going based on how could you not know? But and there was also her statement saying she's allowed to be there by right. And by right, she's allowed to be there. It is a free country. However, you show unity with the party that you pledged your allegiance to.
Look, this is my humble take on the situation. I don't know, to begin with, how formidable a candidate she would have been against Patrick Faber, admittedly a powerhouse in Collet, and that's a fact. 5 terms consecutively he's been there as the area rep. I don't know. I'm just simply saying that this thing is a mockery and a laughing stock. At least as far as I saw it yesterday and other people responding to the video circulating, it was like, okay, what is really happening here?
Perhaps in her removal of her position as standard bearer, she saw that, well, I don't need to have an allegiance to the UDP and I can be here. Perhaps.
Does it mean though, and this is purely hypothetical, does it mean though that if for whatever reason you didn't get your way and you were asked to stand down, that means you automatically switch allegiance to the opposition in this case? I don't know. Good question. I don't know that because I don't get my way, I automatically abandon ship.
You know, it proves we'll probably have to have an interview. We'll probably have to ask her these questions.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen that level of, I guess, quickness jumping ship from one to the other. Wishy-washiness in terms of what Sana Cayetano means. But, you know, we asked her, we posed the question to her, right? Asking her why she's there.
So, well, let's go to that then.
Let's go to that interview and see.
Speak for the Collet constituency. Hi, good morning. Can you speak to us? Hi, good morning, Ms. Paredes.
Hi, good morning.
Ms. Paredes, you're Mr. Barrow's pick for the Collet division for the United Democratic Party. Many might question, what are you doing out here? Okay, let me tell you this, right? I am a registered voter in Fort George, so I have all rights to be here supporting whosoever is running in Fort George.
Charles,
because I myself cannot vote for myself in Colette. This is where my vote will be, right?
For the People's United Party.
I am not saying that. I'm just saying that that is my personal business, and so I can be wherever I want to be, because at the end of the day, I can't be in Colette, right? Because that was a daily turf. I vote in Fort George, and this is my ex-mother-in-law.
Would you think that would maybe send the wrong signal to persons you're trying to garner support from?
Not at all, because at the end of the day, some people are within Colette that vote in Messop for Shine, and I send them, right? If they have the choice, they can go to Limark Chan, they can go to Shine, whatever camp. They have options. I always give people options, okay? I can't hold their hands and anything.
I'm laughing to myself.
I'll
tell you why I'm laughing to myself, April.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, we have to credit our colleagues over at Love FM for the interview.
Yes.
Right? Good job, Vijay, with approaching Ms. Paredes with those questions. But I was laughing to myself because on the way to work, I was trying to find a synonym for a word that I want to use that I cannot use because it's not appropriate on air. And perhaps if I use a word, if I use a synonym for it, it might not pack the same punch, right? But it rhymes with hit show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This entire thing is a hit show.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I'm trying to understand, April, how you're registered at Fort George, right? For all intents and purposes, you're representing another party, another color, and then you come and give this rationale as a reason for being at your opposition's event.
Yeah.
It behooves me. But let's go.
No. I was sitting here trying to make sense of the answers that did not make sense. Because again, like she said, it is her right to be wherever
Fair
she
enough.
wants, and I'm not, disputing that. She's absolutely right. But it does not make sense why she's at a PUP convention.
Yeah.
It does not. Even if, okay, right, if it was a UDP convention and she's there and she's, campaigning on behalf of another standard bearer, whatever, that's absolutely fine. But I don't understand
a UDP convention,
her being there.
and she's registered in Fort George, but she's running in Colette. Makes perfect
that makes sense.
Do your thing.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why I'm saying I'm trying to make sense of the answer, because it still does not justify her being at the opposition, her components convention. That is what her opponent's convention, sorry. It does not make sense that she is there.
Yeah.
But you know what? I would be glad for us to ask her some more questions. I would want to understand really what took place, because like you said, she's no longer the standard bearer of their choosing, and so perhaps that does have something to do with it. I don't know. But
I maintain from my humble end once again that perhaps it was a poor choice from the Shine Barrow camp from the very beginning. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Let's get into something a bit more serious, right? We'll include it as part of our What's Buzzing simply because it was part of the conversation that was started on Friday.
yes.
And so I'll get serious in terms of how I present this issue at this point. So I've been in the media for all my professional life.
Yes.
One capacity or another, I've been serving in the Belizean media. And what I've noticed over the past several years is what I would want to term or describe as utter disrespect from public officials for us as reporters and the job that we do.
Yes.
I say this simply because I sat there in awe on Friday when the opposition leader, when he lost his cool, began using certain descriptives towards a reporter.
Yes.
In this case, my colleague Marisol Amaya. In a previous instance where another female reporter was challenging the Minister of Tourism. This was several years ago when the Belize International Music and Food Festival was just kicking off as a thing. And they were asking about the accounting and what have you. Right. And there was another exchange there where it came off as disrespectful.
Yes.
And more recently, the Commissioner of Police taking an attack on our reporter here, Paul Lopez, which was also seen widely as disrespectful. And it's regrettable that this is not something that is new, but it's something that more and more people feel comfortable doing, you know, disrespecting us for the work that we do. We are here as reporters to ask questions, to be able to provide the appropriate answers to our audience, to the people who desire and care to know what's happening. Yes. So that's our primary charge, to ask the question. If you're not comfortable with responding to the question, then perhaps there's another means of getting around that, or just take the fifth if you want to use it as such, right? But to start calling names or start using certain descriptives and what have you, it's unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. And so we sat there on Friday. Marisol was challenging Cheyenne Barrow regarding a piece of decision that was handed down and what it meant. And so when she wasn't necessarily getting the answer that she was looking for, she kept pressing. And that's what we're supposed to do. And I could understand perhaps how frustrating that can be for someone on the other end. But I'm simply saying there's a better way of dealing with these types of things, right? Agreed. There's a better way of dealing with these types of things. We are in this business. We've been in this business because it's a passion of ours, right? We treat our job with the respect that it requires. I certainly do. Yes. And so I don't expect that in the process of me asking a question that someone would make a mockery or someone would, you know, take me for stock, so to speak. But it goes back, I can say, when I began noticing it from the previous administration, where we used to attend press conferences and gatherings where there's an entire heckling gallery. They're just to get under the media's skin, or just to pass snide remarks and so on and so forth. And I think that sort of normalized it, where now you have people who, because they don't want to respond to your question and because they feel cornered, will come back with a personal swipe or things of that sort.
You know, you're absolutely right, and I think for us in this country, we do take our freedom of speech very seriously. It is our job as the media to bring you this information, and I think that for the most part, our viewers, they ask us. We are asking the question that gets posed to us. So it's not just a matter of the media trying to berate or trying to, you know, get under the skin of the politician. At the end of the day, I think it's important for any person in authority, whether that be, you know, the police department or the government, that when you took your oath in office to serve the people, you took an oath to be as transparent and autonomous as possible. And for us as the media, that is our duty to ensure that you give that to the people. So when we are asking questions, it's not because we want to piss you off. It's because at the end of the day, you owe that to us. You owe that to the community that you serve. And if you are being untruthful, or if we feel like perhaps that does not answer the question enough, it is our duty to continue to ask you. And there is supposed to be a mutual level of respect when it comes to the media and whosoever we're interviewing, whether it be the government, because we are that middleman, we are that medium, right, that provides that communication on behalf of the people. So by you disrespecting our colleagues, by you disrespecting us, you are disrespecting the people that you serve. And I think that they forget that.
Beyond that, and I fully agree with what you're saying, beyond that, however, is the fact that we wake up every day, we report to work because we're passionate about the job that we do, right? And we won't get it right in every instance. Of course not. Life is a learning curve. In this kind of job, you learn something new every day, right? And in some cases, you won't be favored by everybody. We all understand that. That's the how of the world, so to speak. So you have a reporter who shows up, decides to take on this assignment, has questions that need to be answered, and if you know Marisol,
she will press. She will
stay on it.
Yes.
I think that's one of the traits, the qualities that I admire about her.
Yes.
She is very, very persistent and until she gets what she wants. And so in the process of so doing, to get this kind of response, because it devolves into a heated exchange, and then this is the best you can offer as a response, I don't know, it leaves a lot to be desired.
I think, like, again, you say you have the right to say what you need to say, but you also have the right to not say anything. Yeah. You could say no comment. I feel like there's always this level of, you could ask the question, but I really don't have to respond.
You could exercise the option
not to respond. And I think we forget about that. But I'm glad that you brought up this topic, Isane, because sometimes when we see these exchanges and we place them on the media, we tend to forget after the next news item comes along, right? So thank you so much for bringing that up. But we have a convention to discuss. We have a lot going on when it comes to elections. So let's just jump into our Eye on the News for this morning.
So let me start first of all by painting a backdrop for persons who would not have been a blue backdrop. Fair enough. Painting a backdrop for persons who may not have been in attendance or who would not have been following the developments of yesterday online or on their television screens or what have you. So it was a sizable crowd that descended on the Belize City Center compound yesterday. However, and I spoke with a couple of my friends who are from the People's United Party who were in attendance and part of the organization of this event. I said, this is a big crowd, but it's not the biggest PUP crowd that I've seen descend on the Civic Center. Because I can recall in 2020, that blue tsunami was something serious.
There were no gaps in between.
That blue tsunami in 2020 was something to behold visually. And this, while I respect the turnout, sort of pale in comparison, but the rationale that was given is that this was meant to be a delegates convention, right? But they had to be able to accommodate the masses of supporters of the party, given the groundswell and the momentum that's building up towards the election. So if that's the case, then respect to that. I could see where they're coming from. No, to the convention itself. So you had 31 candidates from the People's United Party who are representing various constituencies, right? All of them were out here in Belize City yesterday, and the energy inside the Civic was quite palpable. You could feel it. At one point, with all the vuvuzelas and all the other noise-making items they had in there, I couldn't even hear myself for a while, right? But it speaks to the raw energy that the supporters of the ruling party came with yesterday. Now, the Prime Minister was in his element yesterday as well, right? In terms of being able to deliver to his supporters and the supporters of the party what the new manifesto will look like and what their new mandate would look like once they are voted back into office on March 12th.
Plan Belize 2.0.
Yes. So it's essentially an extension of what they've been working on over the past 4 years with a view to perhaps strengthen certain areas of it, right? And we'll give them that. It's interesting how they went from Plan Belize, which was a 5-year manifesto in the first instance, now it being a 10-year rollout. But we're not a quarrel with that. It is what it is, right? The point that I'm making here, April, is that they had the support yesterday. And when they did the roll call for all 31 constituencies, they showed out. Guaranteed they showed out. Each of the candidates had his or her supporters in their corner, and they were there in full support of the 31 candidate slate. Right now, if you look around, at least here in Belize City, I cannot speak for any other constituency or any other town or district just yet. I haven't really been outside of Belize City. despite the fact that I have teams that are traveling the country for the campaign trail stories, right? But if you look around Belize City, there's an abundance of blue and white flags. And then you could sort of count the number of red, blue, and white ones, right? But flags don't vote. They don't. Neither do T-shirts. But it's an indication of some sort of the kind of support.
I have because you said you haven't been around the other areas, but I've been traveling around for the past week or so. And it's pretty much around the same. In Belmopan, there's only the blue and white flags, and in certain other highways and towns and so forth, there's only the blue and white flags, but there is an abundance of red, white, and blue in Cayo.
Yes.
Right? And that, of course, that's where Mayor Trapp has his holding.
Yes.
But it also tells you, it shows you who is, who has a large campaign budget, who is able to do these types of campaign.
And you're right. So while I mentioned just now that flags don't vote, neither do shirts, I'm almost certain that there's some kind of perhaps a psychological, impression or impact that has on one.
Of course, you definitely know who has the strongholding where, who definitely has, like I said, the budget to campaign in this type of way. But it tells you where you are in terms of party and power, because, like I said, Cayo, San Ignacio, Santa Elena, they definitely have like the red, white, and blue flags, but they have a UDP city council. So it tells you, right?
So let's do this quickly.
Right.
We have an interview, well, not an interview, I'm sorry. We have the Prime Minister's address to his audience yesterday that we want to share with our viewers watching. This is PM Briceño as he addressed the People's United Party gathering at the city center yesterday afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Are you ready? Are you ready for March the 12th? Now, let me say from the bottom of my heart, muchas gracias. I love you all. Les quiero a todos ustedes. My friends, it is an honor and privilege to once again be elected as leader of the People's United Party, the greatest political party Belize has ever seen. And so it is with humility and fervent commitment to the values of our party that I accept this awesome privilege to once again serve you as party leader. PUP! PUP! This reaffirmation of our work together as a PUP family comes at a significant moment in our life. It comes just as we are hitting our stride. It comes after one of the darkest periods in our nation when all hope was lost. Like all those challenging times before, when our people are living in the dark, it was the PUP who brought us back to the light. And we did this together because we know what really matters. Love. The love we have for God, our family, our party, and the love we have for our beautiful Belize. All these things bind us together. They remind us that we share our lives together, that we must trust one another and look after one another. Gacho, vamos bien. Clear in this understanding, we took office in Belmopan in November of 2020, free from fear. We faced the challenges brought on from COVID, from UDP, incompetence, corruption, and neglect with courage, because we are PUPs. That is who we are. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are bold. In November 2020, we won a massive victory and went to work with Plan Belize as our North Star. We took with us to Bamapan our values, and we focus on living our creed, which call on each of us to fight for justice, economic justice, environmental justice, and yes, social justice. Each day we went to work clear in our minds that our task is always to serve the people. We got off the ground from day one, implementing Plan Belize, and today Belizeans have seen the result. More work and less crime. Today, Belizeans have more hope and less fear. Belizeans have a government that values hard work. We have ministers and elected officials who are brave, who work hard, and who not only put us on track, but make sure that we stay on track. And because of this, Belize is moving forward. Adelante con el Partido Unido del Pueblo. Vamos bien. Moving forward with a vision of a better society, built on what Mr. Price called treasures of the spirit. Compañeras y compañeros de este gran Partido Unido del Pueblo, les doy las gracias por la confianza que han depositado en mi liderazgo y el de la Ejecutiva Nacional, que nos ha llevado a victoria tras victoria. Y para estas elecciones, junto a la Ejecutiva Nacional, les prometo una vez más llevarlos a celebrar otro triunfo más con el Partido Unido del Pueblo. No hay desafío que no podamos superar si estamos unidos, juntos, demostrarlo otra vez que vamos a ganar al Partido Unido del Pueblo, señoras y señores. El poder está en nuestras manos. Hagamos que nuestras ideas se conviertan en realidad. Cada paso que damos nos acerca más a la victoria. Sigamos avanzando con determinación. La esperanza es nuestra mejor arma. Luchemos por un futuro brillante y lleno de oportunidades. Hoy es el momento de levantarnos y hacer oír nuestra voz una y otra vez, y no nos detendremos hasta lograr la victoria para el Partido Unido del Pueblo. La historia nos está mirando. Seamos el cambio que queremos ver para nuestro pueblo y en el mundo. Vamos bien y sigamos en el buen camino. My friends, members of the People's United Party, today I want to thank all of you for trusting in us and for supporting Plan Belize. I want to thank those who served in our party's national executive. They worked hard, and their hard work paid off. Look around you. Look at who we are. We stand together as a strong People's United Party. Earlier, we had a moving tribute to two of our leaders. It is important that we honor those who served before us. Their legacy reminds us to be faithful to a peaceful, constructive Belizean revolution. A revolution that embraces change. Our mission now is, as it was then, to advance the progress for the people of Belize. We must continue to deliver on Plan Belize by embracing Plan Belize 2.0. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for endorsing Plan Belize 2.0 as our 2025 platform. My promise to you, today is that like Mr. Price, Said, and Francis, I will work hard every day to keep our party strong, to serve this party, and to keep working every day for the development of our country. I promise to lead this great party into the future with confidence and with hope. Guided by the Creator, let us together continue to make our party a nation, the land of the free by the Caribbean Sea. PUP! PUP! Thank you. God bless you.
Please rise.
All right, so that was an impassioned speech delivered bilingually by Prime Minister and Party Leader John Briceño, both in English and Spanish.
Well, he had to, right? He represents an entire community that majority of the people there speak Spanish, so he has to be able to speak to them as well. And it kind of goes to show you that we're seeing this tremendous growth in the way that we address the people of this nation. He speaks in English, he speaks in Spanish, and it's very inclusive. And I think that was what set his speech apart from a lot of the other politicians yesterday.
Well, I'm looking forward to, as a journalist, be able to see what the new iteration of Plan Belize will look like. Again, should they be returned to office in March, we'll see what Plan Belize 2.0 shapes out to be for the next 5 years.
The 2.0 part kind of irks me a little bit, just in terms of the whole grammar aspect. No, because, okay, I feel like the Plan Belize mandate, if you've read it, and I feel like majority of our audience, you should read it, it's available online. You still have a lot of continuity of projects. You know, these are not things that were 100% completed in the 5 years. I think Plan Belize is a continuation. There's a lot more work to be done. There are, of course, a lot of accomplishments, but I'm curious to see how they step it up a notch in the next 5 years if elected, right?
Well, that remains to be seen. That's $1 million question. Some would say it's a foregone conclusion. Others would say there's still a fight to be had. We'll see what March 12th brings. But that concludes it for the Eye on the News this morning. You can catch extended coverage of what took place yesterday in our 6 p.m. newscast and, of course, in our midday news brief as well. So that does it for this morning's Eye on the News.
Moving on into our weather update, brought to you by the folks at the National Meteorological Service.
Good morning, Belize. A relatively moist easterly airflow prevails. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for sunny skies today with cloudy intervals, and high temperatures today are expected to reach 84 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, to 88 inland, and 76 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be partly cloudy with low temperatures of 77 along the coast, to 72 inland and 65 in the higher elevations. A few showers will continue to develop around the country during the daytime, then become isolated tonight and tomorrow. The winds will blow from the east at 10 to 15 knots, and the sea state will be choppy. A high tide will occur at 6:55 this morning, followed by a high at 12:39 in the afternoon, and then a low will occur at 7:42 tonight and a high at 1:25 a.m. The sun will rise at 18 minutes past 6 this morning and set at 5:55. The moon set at 16 minutes past 9 today and comes up at 13 minutes past 10 tonight. The outlook for Tuesday and Tuesday night is for fair conditions to prevail, and showers, if any, will be isolated. In the sargassum forecast, a gradual increase in sargassum is expected over the area during the next few days. And that's your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
All right, thank you the folks at the National Meteorological Service for that weather update. It's still raining in February, so we're gonna keep tabs on the weather after this. But we gotta move on with our show lineup for this morning. And in our first and second conversation, we will be joined via Zoom by Hugo Patt, the United Democratic Party Corozal North candidate. We're going to be having an extensive conversation with him about what his plans would be if elected this year.
Our second conversation this morning will be with the Belize Volleyball Association as they get ready to participate in a volleyball championship that is upcoming.
Wonderful. But before we get into all of that and more, we do got to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have our conversation with UDP Corozal North candidate Hugo Patt.
Belize. The countdown to Decision 2025 is on, and the voices that matter are speaking up. What are the biggest issues? Who are the key players? And what does it all mean for you? Join April Martinez, Demi Williams, and Harold Young as they break down the issues, the candidates, and the real impact of this election. Tune in to Power and the People, where your voice matters. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. only on Channel 5.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you. I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and run, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's Smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
Raised Belize's profile internationally by strategically advancing our interests and exercising regional leadership. Belize has held the chairmanship of CARICOM, the CARICOM Council for Foreign and Community Relations, and the Permanent Council of the OAS, held the presidency pro tempore of SICA and of Mesoamerica, co-chaired the Los Angeles Declaration process, and participated in the OAS high-level group on Peru. We have forged closer ties between Central America and the Caribbean by spearheading the adoption of a new plan of action on cooperation, convening trade ministers, and hosting a CARICOM-SICA summit. We have advanced Belize's development interests in high-level meetings with Japan, the EU, India, and many others. Belize's diplomats are at the forefront of global negotiations on climate change, protecting the interests of Belize. The first Belizean and first woman was appointed Secretary General of CARICOM in 2021. At a time of immense challenges and the erosion of globalization, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade has positioned Belize at the forefront of regional leadership.
It's time to wake up, move, and feel amazing. Get your heart pumping and your energy flowing with Morning Boost. A fun and dynamic workout show to kickstart your day. Whether you're a beginner or a fitness pro, we've got the moves to keep you motivated. So grab your mat, set your alarm, and let's get moving. Morning Boost, weekdays at 6 a.m., only on Channel 5.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Our first conversation this morning, as we mentioned just before we took our initial commercial break, we will be having a discussion with Hugo Patt. He is the UDP's Corozal North Standard Bearer. He's also the incumbent area representative, and he's also the deputy party leader of the UDP. Good morning, Mr. Patt.
Good morning.
Good morning, Isani. Good morning, April.
How's it going?
Well, today it's been a very, very rainy morning, so we're having some blessings today, so I think that's a good sign.
We could all relate. Showers of blessings.
Showers of blessing indeed.
Hugo, before we get into your candidacy this time around, I'd want to have from you a reflection of what's been taking place within the United Democratic Party from your perspective. You are the deputy leader. You've seen all the wranglings that's taking place internally. Let's begin by getting your take on what's been happening.
Isani, I think it's very unfortunate what has been happening in the UDP, what has transpired throughout, particularly the last couple, or I would say the last few months. I think it's something unprecedented. It's something very, very sad and disheartening, particularly for the thousands of supporters that we have throughout the country. The issue of this internal fight has really brought this party to a point where our very own supporters are just waiting on that particular miracle, so to say, for us to get our act together. I think in the perspective of our thousands of supporters, and I could relate for our supporters here in Corozal North as well, their call is for unity, their call is for this in the fight to end. Their call is for us to get our act together, and their call is for us to get to work as a party, to work in unity, to work as a team. And I think that has been the call that many of our supporters have been making a heat for now.
You have been in a position I would describe as a rather key and critical position as a deputy party leader. You've seen all the developments since 2020 in terms of the changes in leadership, in terms of the positions taken by certain members of the party. But from all outward appearances, it doesn't seem as if though there's development in a positive direction at this point. It's almost as if though it's ruled by chaos and it's no man's land. How do you find, as a politician, some kind of sense or a path in all of this in terms of trying to move forward?
Well, in my capacity as deputy leader, I've tried to lobby with both factions. Personally, I am of the view that if whosoever becomes a party leader, that person has to have the ability to be able to work with everybody, to be able to handle all kinds of situations, but more importantly, to take on a challenge where you will have more than one aspirant for that particular post. And I think today, as we speak, the biggest challenge is that we have more than one aspirant for one particular position. And so I have come to the conclusion, Isani, that when it comes to leadership, when it comes to that party leader position, people will do what they will have to do in order to fight for that post. I am of the view that if something is for you, there is a living God that will make things happen. But that's my take on it.
Where do the conversations about the betterment of the communities stand? I ask this question because we've just been seeing all of the chaos like Isani mentions, and we've not necessarily been hearing how the party is going to be able to come together to combat the societal, economical issues that Belizeans are facing. And without that kind of conversation, voters are confused. Voters might not necessarily know who to vote for or if your party has their best interests at heart.
From that end, I think that's a valid point. The party, as we speak, is working is producing a manifesto. But in terms of the general perspective of the party, I think it is just a matter for us to be able to put our work together. I think we have very capable people who are advising the party, very capable people who are able to work along with us in terms of the general welfare of the country. It is not as if the UDP is a new party that is that has absolutely or little to no knowledge of managing the affairs of the country. But I think at this point in time, it is, and if I may relate to our voters, I would say in the case of Corozal North, they have known the work that we have done in the past years, and so it is merely a reflection of that I'm telling people, look, we know exactly what it is that we need to do in the development of our areas. We know exactly what we need to do in terms of the general management of the economy. It is just that it is very unfortunate that at this very end in the coming end in the line for election that we are in this very difficult and sad position.
Now, Hugo, you were among the claimants, along with Shine Barrow, regarding the contempt against Tracy Panton and her continued reference to herself as the party leader. What do you make of Friday's decision? The fact that under freedom of speech she's able to do so. Do you believe that that impedes the work of the faction of the UDP that you belong to?
Well, actually, I am a UDP. I don't see this as any faction. As I said, I stand here by principle, and I consider Tracy Panton, I consider Patrick Farber, and all of my past colleagues, UDPs. The very existential threat that we have is that line, is that division, is that sort of wall that's in between us that is affecting each and every one of us in the UDP. But the mere fact that the court took the decision, we have to respect it. I mean, we're a party. I am a law-abiding person, and so as much as we wanted to avoid going to court at this point in time, we just have to respect what the court has decided.
So from a personal point of view, how has this affected your friendships with these individuals? Because, forgive me, at some point, all of you guys were around the same table together making decisions collectively. You probably chit-chat outside of work and that type of thing. You created a specific bond with each other, as members of the same party. How has all of that been affected?
Well, essentially from my point of view, look, I don't take things personal. As far as I'm concerned, all those members in that faction, they are my friends. I do not take any personal position on issues as such. They are UDPs, I'm UDPs, and I believe that we need to work together. We need to stand in the same line, and we need to do the kinds of things that as a party we do. So if you were to ask me if my relationship has changed, I would say absolutely not. I speak to them from time to time. It is just that there is this difference in terms of their claim for leadership versus the claim that we have on with respect to our party leader. So I think the biggest issue right now is who is who and how it is that we're going to work ourselves going into the general elections. But Hugo Patt has not been a person that will take any stone and hit it against anybody. I have always said I am a UDP. I will never criticize any of my UDPs, and I have stood by that principle.
So then how has this affected campaign methods and strategies in your constituency, seeing as you are standard bearer for Corozal North, but there is also somebody else that is vying for that position under the UDP flag? So how are you strategizing and how are you ensuring that your methods fall within the same mandate under the UDP, sorry?
Well, let's get things, I think from the onset, I make things clear. One, I am a UDP, and that will not change. I don't think there is one UDP, two UDP, or three UDPs. There is one UDP. In terms of going into the campaign trail, and in terms of all of the situation that has pretty much caused some sort of divisive opinions, I expressed to people, look, at the end of the day, if you were to compare the UDP and the PUP, I think, in my opinion, the UDP is the party to go, and from there we move on. There are people who have that affinity to Tracy, and there are those who have that affinity to Shine. And I tell people, look, at this point in time, we need to clearly understand what transpired. There is an open dialogue amongst our voters, and from there we take it on. I think at the end of the day, it's a matter of bringing in some context and communication with our people so that they could better understand the situation that we're facing.
Let me draw a hypothetical scenario, one that could very well play out in real time post March 12th. What if the UDP loses? What if Shine Barrow is gone as the party leader and there's this vacancy, for instance, right? We know that Tracy Panton has her eyes on that particular seat. You are the deputy leader as far as things stand today. Do you have any leadership ambitions? Should there be this clear opening that you can take that opportunity?
I have always said that I am not interested in that position. That position has been, that position was offered to me prior to the 2020 elections, and I said no. From a personal standpoint, I think I am better capable of serving as deputy party leader. I am better able to do groundwork. I am better able to have a hands-on on what it is to work with our people. Taking that leadership position, has not been something that I have aspired for. And as far as I'm concerned, I am whosoever wants to lead, and whosoever the people of this country, whosoever our supporters support, and whosoever the majority of our police support, I am there to support.
So just to be perfectly clear, so even if at the end of all of this, Tracy does rise to power as the next leader of the UDP, all things said and done post March 12th, you would be prepared to serve as a deputy under her leadership?
For the time being, I will, of course, as a result of the convention that we had, yes, I will be the deputy party leader. She will, in the hypothesis that we were able to win and become members of the House of Representatives, then automatically, for there to be a leader of the opposition chosen, that person has to be a member of the House. In the event that Tracy does become, does win her constituency, and so do I will certainly support whoever, if she wants to bid for that position, then certainly that will be the case. You would know that if you're not a member of the House of Representatives, there is no way that you could become the leader of the opposition. When it comes to the race for party leader within the ranks and file of the United Democratic Party, then that is something that has to be considered. But I think you brought in a very important point. Whosoever wins will be able to have a bid for leadership, and whosoever does not win, then obviously, as a consequence of the way our constitution is presented, then there is no way that any other person could run unless there is a reform within the constitution to allow for somebody to run as party leader and not be a member of the House of Representatives.
And I think it comes back to, again, what I've mentioned before about voter confusion, because what if they both win their constituencies again after the election? What happens then?
That's also a likelihood.
Yes, and that's also a likelihood. And I also think that there is a conversation to be had when two factions are running in the same constituency, because it does take away votes from one to the other, or it takes away votes from the party completely. How are you all handling these types of conversations amongst yourselves as supporters of this party?
Well, I think at this point in time, that ship has sailed. If you look at what has actually transpired, I mean, I recall that there was a point in time that there was a move for some sort of mediation, for some sort of compromise, and actually that did not work. We are now into weeks into the general election, so as best as I could describe is right now is as we speak now, I think everyone has to take control of his or her constituency. Corozal North does not have any other candidate as it pertains to UDP, but I think in the areas where we have two candidates, it is creating the sort of environment that is not conducive for the betterment of our party in that particular constituency. No?
I'll ask you one quick question before we go to commercial break. And then when we come back, we'll discuss all things Corozal North and your campaign in that constituency. Did you foresee any of this in November 2020, that the state of your party would have been essentially reduced to what it is today?
Look, from my experience with our colleagues back then, if I had asked everyone, I think everyone would, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I could recall, everyone told me that, look, I'm doing okay in my constituency. We're doing what we need to do, and so you take every person for his or her word, and so just from that perspective, I mean, I took them for their word. But as politicians, we do have also a hands-on approach as to the feeling of the people out there, and we knew certainly that there would have been people who obviously were not performing at the satisfaction at the satisfaction of constituents, and so I knew that there was that possibility of that loss, but it is what it is. I believe that at the end of the day, if you are able to produce the kind of work and the people are satisfied, they will agree you from that end. For me, that's my principle. If you work, people will support you. If you don't deliver, then you don't expect people to deliver for you as well.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to continue this conversation with UDP Corozal North candidate Hugo Patt. But before we do that, we are going to go into one of our short series called Pocket Plans with Rumil Arana, and then we're going to cut to break.
Open your eyes, Belize. This is Rumil Arana from Arana Consultancies, and I'm here to ask you all that all-important question. Did you know? In this segment, we tackle various economic and financial issues that could be important to you. This week, we're talking about Belize's unemployment statistics. Did you know that the Statistical Institute of Belize provides you with a wealth of labor force statistics and not just the unemployment rate? The unemployment rate, defined by the OECD as the percentage of the labor force without work, is a widely discussed statistic that helps to shape government and central bank policies worldwide. An unemployed person is someone of working age who is jobless, available to work, and has actively searched for a job in the past 4 weeks. When the economy struggles, production, measured by GDP, declines, leading to higher unemployment and lower household incomes. This relationship has been established and accepted in macroeconomics worldwide. We all know and accept that lower household income is by no means a good thing. In 2024, the Central Bank of Belize conducted a review that highlighted the relationship between GDP and formal employment, which holds true, especially in our tourism industry. The tourism sector contributes 40% of the country's income, while some experts believe it's much more than that. Let's take a closer look. Tourism has a significant trickle-down effect on the economy, extending far beyond those we commonly associate with that sector. We all know frontline workers like tour guides and hotel staff, but beyond that, there are other beneficiaries like grocery stores, farmers, small businesses, and the financial sector. When employment in this sector slows down, the broader economy feels the impact. The latest economic statistics were provided by the SIB for September 2024 and reported an 8.6% GDP growth through the third quarter, signaling a strong performing economy. They also observed an overall unemployment rate of 2.1%. And when breaking that down by gender, the male unemployment rate came in at 1.4%, while the female rate was higher at 3.1%. So what is happening behind these relatively low numbers that is a cause for concern? Since COVID, there has been a significant decline in the number of unemployed individuals. However, the employed labor force has remained stagnant, averaging just over 163,000 people in September 2021. At the same time, the number of people not in the labor force remains high, around 129,000, on par with pandemic levels. Over this period, the number of people not in the labor force has increased at a faster rate than the employed population, indicating a rise in both graduates and discouraged workers who have given up on finding jobs. Unfortunately, about 66% of these individuals are women. So while the economy is moving in the right direction, there is a significant number of people who seem to have been permanently displaced by the effects of the pandemic. As a responsible population, we should ask ourselves two questions. Why have these persons not re-entered the traditional workforce? And what are these persons doing to sustain themselves on a daily basis? There are a few theories out there from economists who have called for research on the informal economy and how it has grown since the pandemic. COVID sparked a wave of resilience and innovation. many individuals turned to online businesses and embraced entrepreneurship and found creative ways to generate income. And though employment statistics try to give insights into informal employment, these measures may not be ideal. Furthermore, the informal economy spies a wide array of activities, including illicit ones, and we remain uncertain as to what people are doing. Additionally, we must evaluate whether our education system is truly equipping our young people with the skills and knowledge needed for both the current and future economy. We need to review our curricula at all levels to ensure they align with our economic needs going forward. Lastly, we have to question whether our workforce is structurally excluding female participants. With the right research, we can answer these questions and make the necessary steps as a country to improve our workforce. They can then become more vibrant and contribute more positively to the country's household income and, by extension, our sustainable growth. Remember to tune in to Open Your Eyes next time when Arana Consultancies brings you another edition of Pocket Plans.
El Patio Grill has been using Belize Bank for over 25 years. We only use Belize Bank at our restaurant. That's why we were able to win this trip to Europe. I had never been to Europe. We found out it was Madrid and we were excited and we went to this football match. The teams reached before the game and everybody was just outside, you know. You can't explain it. The noise just roared like 3 blocks down the street, but when you got in there and you saw 70,000 people in there, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it was happening. I had to pinch myself to make sure it was real, you know, because it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, I'd say. My lucky plus one was my son. He's 18 years old, so he was really excited and he enjoyed it as well. He said it's his best trip ever, so it's a priceless experience that we got. Belize Bank has always been there for me. Whatever transactions or whatever I need to do, they're always there for me. I would recommend everybody to use Belize Bank. This is the oldest bank in our country and they continue to do their best.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 25% off select Honda products and 20% off Honda parts. Don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make your purchase. There will also be a bike rally throughout the streets of Belize City, Blue Creek, and Spanish Lookout on February 8th, 15th, and 22nd respectively. All participants will get free oil change. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Love your Honda. It's all about deals and discounts on Honda products throughout the month of February, only at Benquip Equipment Parts Service.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you, I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and run, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's Smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
This is my first time here.
Hopefully it's my last.
My dear friends,
here we are, all in our true colors. Your transfer papers, your key to the Mvule Kingdom.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I know.
Here are your clippers. Clippers.
Who's in?
We are prefects. We run this place. So let's act like it.
Solomon, the head prefect, quick. Is my collar straight?
We'll be out of Mvule High before you can pronounce the word scholarship.
We have a mystery to solve. The only way we can make a difference is if we stick together. When I'm head prefect, each and every student will have a voice.
You need to show that news quick, the Mvule.
I hate this school!
Belize. The countdown to Decision 2025 is on, and the voices that matter are speaking up. What are the biggest issues? Who are the key players? And what does it all mean for you? Join April Martinez, Demi Williams, and Harold Young as they break down the issues, the candidates, and the real impact of this election. Tune in to Power and the People, where your voice matters. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. only on Channel 5.
And welcome back. We are continuing our conversation this morning with Corozal North Standard Bearer for the United Democratic Party, none other than Hugo Patt. He's also the deputy party leader of the UDP. This conversation, or this segment of our discussion with Hugo, is all about the work that he's doing in his constituency, what that has been looking like, and what he intends to do should he be returned to office as the area rep for Corozal North. You're still with us, Hugo?
Yes, Isani, we're here.
All right, so let's discuss the work that you've been doing in your constituency. You are a Canero at heart, and a lot of what you do speaks to the work that needs to get done in the sugar industry as part of the constituents that support you as their area rep.
Right, actually, there is a whole different dynamic when you are part of a party in government and when you're in opposition, Isani, so that there is always that delicate strike in balance as to responsibilities. As we speak right now, and you said it right, I am a cane farmer, I am a canero. I always advocate for those farmers in my constituency. And so when it comes to the work that we are doing, as best as possible with the resources that we have, we try to alleviate some of the situations that we have here in our constituency. And probably one of the biggest issues that we have right now is the issue of sugar roots. You know that this year has been a very extraordinary year. We have had quite a lot of rainfall. And we have had areas where our farmers simply just are not able to harvest because of the sugar roots. I will admit this time around that we did get some assistance from the Ministry of Works, and so that the government came in and did some work. But really, when it comes to the hauling of cane, it is a very, very tedious one. And so as best as possible, we try to work with our farmers from that end. Now going into the general constituency, I have to admit that I have some very, very good executives. We have some very good committees, and we have some excellent village councils that do assist us in being able to service and keep in touch with the 11 communities that form part of the Corozal North family.
Wow. Well, I also had a question, Mr. Patt, when it comes to the way that the economic structure is happening in Corozal North. I know you're talking about infrastructure of the sugarcane roads. However, one of my questions is, what are you doing within your constituencies in terms of maintaining and retaining jobs, specifically in this particular industry? It is no shock that not everybody is vying to be a cañero. So how are we trying to retain the jobs within that industry?
Actually, it is a big challenge for all of us. If I could speak for those farmers that do work directly, it's more of a family-oriented, it's more of a family business. But one of the biggest issues that we have right now, as we speak, April, is the issue of cane quotas. The harvest of sugarcane, the general work of sugarcane is a very, very hard one. You work under very harsh conditions. I will give you, for instance, last year we had a severe drought. There were extreme conditions where farmers just, our cutters were not able to cut to meet the quota, precisely because one, we did not have enough cutters, and secondly, because the weather conditions did not allow. I mean, the heat was very intensive, and so when you look at the conditions upon which people have to work, it's not an easy one. The biggest challenge that we have is that we have people vying for jobs that are better paying jobs, and of course the conditions upon which they work. I will give you a typical example. If you have a person who might be interested in cutting cane versus one that, for instance, would get a job in the free zone. The jobs that we have in the free zone, they're less intensive. The conditions are better, and so that when you look at the options, many people prefer to get a job in the free zone or probably go to the tourism sector than to actually join the sugar industry. What farmers in the area have done is they basically increase the wages for the cutters as an incentive to bring in farmers, but really it's difficult. And it's not only one farmer that is being affected. This is affecting the whole industry, so that many farmers are looking into ways of mechanizing, mindful though that getting equipment for mechanization is very expensive.
Yeah, so how then, with that particular knowledge, how then is Corozal trying to, increase industry within its constituency in order to not just to retain sugarcane farmers, but also compete with those jobs that are across the border in the free zone and in Mexico?
Actually, if you look at the numbers, there is I would call it a stable number of farmers that are heavily investing in sugarcane, who are dedicated fully to the sugarcane, and I think that is probably the biggest driver that is pushing people to stay within the farming community. Consider the fact that there is also fair trade, the premiums that farmers do get directly as a consequence of their of sugar being sold from Belize. That is an additional incentive, and so I think the farmers are very resilient. They have in the sugar industry, just as an agriculture, it's an industry that's 24/7. There is no stopping, and so farmers have to find ways in which to see how best they could meet their needs. I have noticed that there are certain people who decide to go into mechanization, and at the same time, there are fields that do not allow for full mechanization, and so they find ways in which to adapt, working with people and working with and mechanizing. And so I think that is the avenue, that is the recipe that farmers have been doing in order to be able to survive. This year, we are being posed with an additional challenge. Last year, you would know that we had this infestation of fusarium, which is significantly affecting the yields. This is something that's staying here with us. This is going nowhere, and so farmers will have to find ways to deal with this additional issue. And what compounds the matter is that this year in particular, the prices of the global prices for sugar, they're not looking good. And so I think this year is going to be one very critical for farmers, where just as in the late 90s and early 2000s, when we were told that we needed to leave sugar cane alone because it would not be a profitable business. I mean, these are the times where we just have to find ways to be able to survive. I have always seen farmers, particularly in the areas where there is profits, particularly in the very productive areas, save some money for the difficult times. And so these are the things that farmers do in order to be able to survive. But here in my constituency, and I could speak for quite a number of villages. But we have some very, very excellent producing farmers. And so from that end, I think that in our perspective, Corozal North stands as one of the most productive constituencies, or one of the most productive areas when it comes to sugarcane farming, as well as we do have some excellent vegetable farmers as well.
So outside of industry and employment, when you canvass your constituency, what are other issues that residents of Corozal North have been sharing with you?
Well, the biggest, and I think the salient issue here is the cost of living. Believe you me, it is not easy being a father and a mother right now. And worse yet, if you're a single mother and you have to raise your kids, you have to send your children to school, you have to provide for food, you have to provide for clothing. And if your children get sick, where do you get that money to be able to pay for the medical needs? I think that is the biggest challenge. And what is probably the worrisome situation is that we have seen a constant increase in the prices of products, the basic food basket. And I don't think that the government is doing anything to alleviate that situation. I will speak, for instance, on the issue of vegetable, the importation of vegetables. There is only one person in this country that is able to import vegetables. It is a monopoly where one person is benefiting, I think, at the expense of Belizeans. I live right next to Chetumal, and so I am able to from time to time to go to Chetumal, and I manage to browse at the prices of the vegetables being sold there. I will just give you a typical example. There are times that you will find for instance, the price of tomatoes probably at 50 cents, and I'm not speaking on wholesale prices. I'm speaking at the prices on the market. Mm-hmm. When those are imported by one person, that the person might decide, look, I bought this for 50 cents. I will sell it for $2 a pound. Mm-hmm. Who else will determine the price? There is no other importer. So that tomato, that pound of tomato from 25 cents automatically has gone to $2 if the sole importer so decides. If he decides to sell it to the retailers at $3, that's it. Bear in mind that doesn't stop there. The retailers will eventually go on to the markets and eventually reach the consumers. And so that when you look at the prices of the basic products, vegetables as we speak, it's just a killing. People just can't afford. And it is not that the world out there is seeing an increase in the prices of products. It's not that the inflation is global. There is part of it. But the other part of it is that there has been created a monopoly in this country whereby only one individual is benefiting at the expense of producers, at the expense of consumers. And so those are the issues that are affecting farmers. I always tell farmers, look, I come from a village where we produce a number of things. And my advice to them, look, as best as you could do, try as much as possible to plant whatever you put at your own in order to survive this. Because if you're going to take the approach that you will spend and buy everything that you need, it's unable, that money will not be enough. That is the reason that we're seeing families buying not the healthy food that we need to consume, but we're going at what is in many times not so healthy, but it's what they could afford. And so that issue is one of the most salient issues that we have as we speak.
Hugo, my final question for you. We're quickly approaching the 8 o'clock hour. With all things said and done, those developments in your party that you may not necessarily be too pleased about, and overall the state of the economy and inflation and what have you that you speak of, why should residents, those of voting age who have registered, vote for Hugo Patt in Corozal North?
Well, Ms. Annie, I have been here since 2012, and I have to be grateful to and thankful to the people of Corozal North for having supported me. Within the two, I have been an elected official representative for 3 years, and I have been in government for 8 years. And within those 8 years, the people of Corozal North have seen the kind of work that we were able to produce. And this is not the work that Hugo Patt alone produced. It was a work produced by our committees and certainly by the participation of our people. So that when it comes to them supporting Hugo Patt, I have always said it's not my words that speak, but it's merely the work that we have been able to produce.
Well, I want to say a big thank you to you, Mr. Patt, for joining us via Zoom, talking to us about all of these issues, and we wish you the very best of luck in the upcoming general elections. And of course, we might have you again back, hopefully, on the couch in person to talk to us more about your insights when it comes to general elections 2025. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much, guys, and you guys take care as well.
You too.
All right, we are going to take another quick break, and we're going to switch gears into paving the path to volleyball championship glory. We're going to have the folks from the Belize Volleyball Association with us to talk to us more about that. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Come back tomorrow, make us cool up again. See that 3-pointer that way at the calf, right? Hold on. Boy, you alright?
Something wrong, yeah?
Something have to wrong because you're well distracted.
No, man, at the top of the street light. The one there around my areas, nice and pretty. Watch how this one look, dull and orange.
Because this one, the HPS. So if you see any other old fixture, report it to BL, and BL will change it to the bright LED one there. You see one where they talk about? Just like that.
But how you do that?
The thing easy. Make I show you something. All you need for do, that go in your BL app and click the option where say street light fault, enter your location, put in the 7-digit number from the pole, press report, and left the rest to BL.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Have an old fixture? Report it today using our BEL 24/7 app, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Coming up, a festival of long-distance running with some very familiar chums. How about Run Barbados? When it comes to entertainment, this iconic couple really puts on a show. Caribbean Passport TV brings the region closer together. Exciting destinations, healthier meals. Be viewing this station. So have your passport ready and let's travel.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
It's time to wake up, move, and feel amazing. Get your heart pumping and your energy flowing with Morning Boost. A fun and dynamic workout show to kickstart your day. Whether you're a beginner or a fitness pro, we've got the moves to keep you motivated. So grab your mat, set your alarm, and let's get moving. Morning Boost, weekdays at 6 a.m., only on Channel 5.
Belize, the countdown to Decision 2025 is on, and the voices that matter are speaking up.
What are the biggest issues? Who are the key players? And what does it all mean for you? Join April Martinez, Demi Williams, and Harold Young as they break down the issues, the candidates, and the real impact of this election. Tune in to Power and the People, where your voice matters. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. only on Channel 5.
Welcome back. Joining us for our third conversation for the morning. It's all about the Belize Volleyball Association and what they have been working towards for their plans for 2025. Joining us in studio, we have Francis Usher, and he is the Vice President of the national teams on behalf of the Belize Volleyball Association. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Elton Anderson, the captain of the Belize national volleyball team. Good morning, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us today. So we have been talking volleyball, particularly quite a lot in the past couple of months. But before we get into 2025, let's take a walk down memory lane of your achievements in 2024. Let's start with you, Mr. Usher.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. First time in the new studio. I like it, guys. We're stepping up. We're stepping up.
Yes.
So it's really a pleasure for Elton and I to be here. And I think, well, we definitely believe, and I'm sure many others would agree, that volleyball is the best sport in Belize, is definitely the most successful, and we plan to keep it that way. Over the past few years, we've hosted a lot of international tournaments. We had our first ever gold medal last year. That was huge for us in female volleyball. Elton and the guys are working diligently toward the first gold in male volleyball. I think they'll achieve it soon. They're knocking on the door. Every year they're knocking on the door. And so we've been growing every year. While we want to keep on giving Belizeans that the top caliber performance, our goal is growth, and I think volleyball has been really good at achieving that. And so that's just it segues right into the local championship, which is what we just had the female national championship. Congratulations to Mega Stars for winning the gold, Ultra Stars for winning the silver, and the Sharp Engineering Jaguars for winning the bronze. So congratulations to all those teams. But now it's time for Elton and I to shine for the male national championships this year.
Well said.
So,
talk to us a bit about that.
Well, to piggyback what Francis said, we've been preparing diligently for this upcoming male tournament. I must say a big shout out and thank you to the Spanish Lookout Volleyball Association. They're doing a wonderful job. It's the second time they're hosting, and I believe they did that because last year was a super success for them. So we're preparing thoroughly and diligently for this upcoming tournament this weekend. The female was wonderful. I had a female team, so the anticipation is there now for me. So go to the drawing board and get ready for Friday.
You dedicated, as far as I'm aware, much of your professional life to volleyball. What's the drive behind that?
Like Francis said, I just have a feel when to see these kids progressing. It's just like I believe it's my God-given talent to just give back through volleyball. So yes, I'm dedicating my entire life, because some days I go home, I'm so tired, but I get passion and I get happy when I'm training volleyball.
Let's talk about how you all got to this point. It's been almost over 30 years in the making of trying to push volleyball in the big international arena, to get people's support in Belize to, be a part of this mission in pushing volleyball. I want us to talk about preparation of how we've gotten to this place, what all the Belize Volleyball Association has done to garner support in this sport.
Oh, wow. Well, I believe our first national team, I don't want to misquote, but I believe it was 1992.
Yes, that's why I said over 30 years. National
team went away. You only achieve growth through exposure. And so when that first national team went and traveled to Central America, and they realized the level that Central America was playing at, that's when they came back. They came back to the drawing board and they said, how can we achieve greater success? How can we get better? And that's when we started to reach out to regional partners. Through the Olympic Association, we reached out to have Cuban coaches come in to bring a different style of coaching and a different style of playing here. Not only to develop the players, but we have Elton here. He's both a player, a coach. I mean, we played on high school team together, then we played on national team together, and then we played on rival clubs. We still play on rival clubs, but Elton has taken a step toward the development of the sport even more, coaching the youths, coaching the females. So he's really, like you said, dedicated his life to volleyball. But I think the exposure of going outside, traveling and playing against the best of Central America, the best of Norseca, that's really helped us a lot. And we come back each time with a passion to get better. And that's been our goal. Like I said, growth has always been the goal. And even locally, for the club games, it's always a contentious topic, if you want to call it that, whether we should keep it to local talent for the national championship or if we should open it up. Each team can get 2 international players. So Elton and I, we feel that we can compete with anyone in the region, in the world, and so if you want to bring them in, bring them. And so we've both supported the position of bringing in international players, because that's going to, 1, raise the bar of playing Belize, and 2, give a better product to the fans. And that's how we get the support, the fans.
It's interesting you say that, because it's the same argument that can be made in other sporting disciplines, where some people would be staunchly against bringing in outside players, whereas the argument to be had is the elevation of the bar and the professionalism that they bring to us that we can learn from, right? When you look at volleyball, and I realize that for some reason, and I may be wrong, a lot of focus has been given on the female teams, but there are the male teams that are right up there.
Because then they win. They are winning. Sorry.
Fair respect to that. But it's a sport that on either side of the net you have male or female, and it's a Belizean product. How do you guys respond to that?
Well, I think like you rightfully said, at first we believe that there was some imbalance, right? Because of the funding that the female get. So when the Olympic Committee came on board, we feel like that was the balance for us, that now we have somebody that has the support of the male, well, not only the male, because they support both male and female, but now we have that go-to. And I must say a huge congratulations to the businesses that have started to invest in volleyball, like WASA and BTL and Belize Tourism Board and the Olympic Committee, again, that have came in and helped and have us where we are today.
I find it very, ironic that you say that, Isane, because in all other sports, it's a male-dominated field. So for me, very refreshing that we look at the women's volleyball team a lot. We shine a light on them, but as you rightfully mentioned, coaches, they won their gold last year. Right? Yes, there is equity everywhere. But I do agree with you that we're seeing the sport become more and more. We shine a light on the sport more and more within the recent years. Like, how are you all recruiting persons to play volleyball? We see that in high school after a while, perhaps they don't continue the sport after they graduate and so forth. So how do you retain players in the sport?
So the single greatest advantage that volleyball has in Belize is that we are organized. Organization is key. That's why.
That's true. I'll give you guys
That's
that.
why we are having more success than, and I'm not calling people out, but we're having more success than basketball or football or softball, especially recently. And it doesn't have to do with recruiting more players than the other sports, because most of the players, you'll find that they play volleyball, basketball, softball, football. Exactly. But what we have is that we are organized and we are pushing sport for development. So when you get out of high school, there are summer camps like the EA summer program, the Jaguar summer program. In the female realm, there's the Star summer program, big name in female volleyball. And a big reason why, you know, the organization of the association, the support of the association, the support of the Olympic Committee, and the support of the Stars program is why female volleyball is where it is. Hoping male volleyball can get a third beneficiary or a supporter as well soon. But I think organization is the way forward, so that the constantly having opportunities for them to play, constantly having these camps, these tournaments, and that's how you keep the talent alive, keep the talent coming back. And it's important because a lot of times, for example, we just finished Division 1 tournament late last year. We only had 4 teams, but it's important, even if you only have 4 teams, still have the tournament. Keep the people playing to keep the interest there.
Yeah. Well, my take on recruitment, it's different for me. I put on my coach's hat now. It starts for me at the primary school level. For the past 10 years, I've been a part of the Holy Redeemer volleyball program. So most of the kids of my camp comes through Holy Redeemer. And then when they leave Holy Redeemer, because you're already their coach, and then now I'm a PE teacher and at SJC, they want to follow their coach. So now they come straight to SJC, and the program, like Francis said, we have summer program, Easter program, Christmas program, but my main recruitment comes from the national tournaments. Like for example, in 2 weeks we have the primary school nationals. I usually take my time to go to look at kids, scout them, get to know their names, know their parents, and see how we can get them to Belize. Same thing with the high school nationals, and that's my recruitment process.
That's effort. That's a lot of effort.
So that's how his club has been recruiting more players than mine.
Now you know. No, but that's an effort that I don't know if I've heard other coaches in other sports do that. That takes a lot of time traveling around the country to recruit.
But it's very necessary, because if you don't catch these kids between a certain age, you will lose them.
Yes.
Right? With any other sport, with any other discipline. So my thing is to get them before they're 8, at least just playing ball, just doing the basics. Then they grow and they grow. Like most of the kids from my camp, I met them when they were 6 and 7. Now they're 18. This is 10 years now. They're still playing volleyball, but like Francis said, they play basketball, they play football, but something with volleyball
keeps
because
them.
of the structure.
Yeah.
And then we are very stern, not only at the club level, but at the national team level as well, that you have to maintain a certain GPA to be on the national team. So it's not just a walk in the park, it's not just your talent alone. We need to see the grades, because if you go and you fail, they will say the association failed you. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So knowing that we have good kids that are passing makes it easier for us.
And if at some point in the future you realize that volleyball isn't for you, you have a sound academic background to fall back on if you're looking for work, right?
Totally agree.
Well, gentlemen, I would also want to discuss your future plans. Now that we just had a championship, what is next for the BVA in this 2025 year?
Well, the upcoming championship.
So they just had the female national championship. Held at the Countryside Park in Spanish Lookout. And once again, we have to give a shout out to the Spanish Lookout Volleyball Academy, Chad and Jeff. You know, Jeff and his team, the Rednecks from Spanish Lookout, they've been around for at least 10 years. And every single time, and Elton can tell you the same, every time you play them, it's a tough game. That team has been, if you want to look at a team that has had steady growth every single tournament, it's that team.
I noticed Spanish Lookout brings out really good teams: football, volleyball, basketball. They are they're growing.
Yep, they are. And so for this this last female nationals, I think they had 2 teams. For the male nationals, I believe they have 2 or 3 teams in the male national championship, which is this weekend at the Countryside Park as well. The females had 14 teams. The males have 16 teams. 16 total teams, 4 groups of 4. And so play starts 6 p.m. on Friday. And then each team plays 1 game Friday night. You wrap up pool play on Saturday during the morning up until about 2 or 3. And then the playoffs start on Saturday in the evening. And then the playoffs continue, quarterfinals and semifinals on quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals on Sunday.
Wow.
So the play starts 6 p.m. Friday night. It starts on 9 a.m. Saturday and 9 a.m. on Sunday.
Wow.
And
so full weekend.
It's a full weekend of volleyball.
And,
wow.
And if you can't make it in person, the Belize Volleyball Association have done a wonderful job by putting it on their Facebook page, so you can view it.
Yeah, and if you don't follow them on Facebook, it's on the Go Live Belize YouTube channel, so you can catch it on YouTube. Because nowadays some people don't have Facebook, that so to each their own. But you can watch it on YouTube, and so every year we have a national championship, female and male, and that's to crown the national champion, because you get teams from Toledo, you get teams from Corozal, you get teams that bring in foreigners, mostly Mexican players, to come and play, and you get teams that are full, local, born and bred Belizeans. This year, after we have the male and female national championships, we had the high school national championships last year. We had the tertiary late last year, and then we have the primary school, as Elton said, in 2 weeks, the week after our one. This year, we're taking a step, we're growing a little bit more, taking a step forward. We're gonna have what we call the Next Gen Championship. So Next Gen is sponsoring. They want to have the national champion at the primary school, high school, tertiary, and the senior level.
Wow.
So the champion will play against what we're referring to as the best of the rest. They will make an all-star team of all the teams that didn't win to play against the national champion. Okay. And the winner of that will be named the champion of the Next Gen Cup.
Ultimate champion.
Right. And so that's just another way to keep the fans engaged, another way to get more reps, more high quality reps for the players. And one thing that volleyball is not afraid to do is to try.
We respect it. So one more time for our audience, in case they missed it for this weekend that's coming. Is there a fee that is attached to this?
There is. So it's $5 to get in on Friday, $7 per day, Saturday and Sunday. But if you go on Friday and you plan to come the entire weekend, you can pay $12 for a weekend pass.
Okay. And where is it?
The Countryside Park in Spanish Lookout.
Countryside Park in Spanish Lookout. Gentlemen,
beautiful place.
Yes, it's a beautiful place indeed. Thank you both so much for coming in. We are excited for volleyball this year, 2025. It looks like there's going to be an ultimate championship, and you guys have to come back and talk to us more about that.
We do,
Best of luck with your championship this weekend, and all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. And don't be surprised if you have the Eagles and EA in the finals.
Okay. There it comes. Thank you, gentlemen. We are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, it's straight to wrap things up. Don't go away.
And I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offer, there's basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
We've brought healthcare closer to home. Our fully equipped mobile clinics ensure that even the most remote communities have access to care, especially for our elderly population. From routine checkups to advanced diagnostics, these clinics bridge the gap between rural Belize and essential health services. Accessible care for every generation.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness. Equal health for all.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you. I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and run, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's Smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
Belize. The countdown to Decision 2025 is on, and the voices that matter are speaking up. What are the biggest issues? Who are the key players? And what does it all mean for you? Join April Martinez, Demi Williams, and Harold Young as they break down the issues, the candidates, and the real impact of this election. Tune in to Power and the People, where your voice matters. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. only on Channel 5.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. I want to say a big thank you for sticking with us all through our show this morning. Sandy, we had very interesting conversations today. We started off with the PUP convention and we kind of gave a synopsis on that. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about that more in our midday news and in our evening newscast tonight. But we did have UDP Corozal North candidate Hugo Patt having a conversation with us about the factions within the UDP, what he's doing within his constituency, campaigning-wise and so forth to tackle the issues in Corozal North, and what we can expect from him if he is elected again.
Yeah. I think those are two critical conversations that we had with Hugo in terms of everything that's been happening within his party and what he sees as the way forward for his constituency in Corozal.
Yeah.
And at some point, both of these issues converge.
Yes.
Because he's representing people who have specific needs as his constituents, who fall within the broader context of being Belizean and living the Belizean experience, right?
Yeah.
Taking the good with the bad. And politics and governance is an intricate part of all of that, right?
Indeed. And of course, we're hoping that we're going to have more of these conversations with all of the other candidates, UDP and PUP alike, leading up to the general elections this year. And then, of course, we finished off our show with those from the representatives from the Belize Volleyball Association as they talked to us about volleyball in 2025, their previous championship that happened this weekend, and of course, their next national championship that is taking place this weekend. It is a growing sport. I know Belizeans love to go and support it. I personally love watching volleyball. So I'm excited to see what they have up their sleeve for this year.
And I think They couldn't have chosen a better location.
That's true.
I was in Spanish Lookout on Thursday, and the place is beautiful. You wouldn't even think that Belize are there.
Well,
right?
People think that about Spanish Lookout already, right? That the minute they go and they see the houses situated on a hill, that they're in a different part of the world.
Yeah.
But it is going to be an exciting game nonetheless. So if you want to get your tickets, of course, you can always contact the Belize Volleyball Association and how to do that. But we got to say a big thank you to you, our viewers, for, starting your morning right here with us on Open Your Eyes. It is February 17th, and if it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you from all of us here on Channel 5 and Open Your Eyes. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oye@channel5belize.com, or you can also send us a text message on our new number at 675-2555 for commentaries, questions, and so forth. That is via WhatsApp. Of course, you can also catch our live stream every day on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ, and check out our highlights on Instagram at OYE Belize. Thank you so much for tuning in, and of course, join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
to start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open. Please
stay tuned with us for our shout out or blowout show coming up tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. It's all about power and the people. We're going to be coming to you live talking about issues surrounding the campaign, surrounding democracy, surrounding politics in Belize. And that is going to be aired at 7:30 p.m. after the news. So join us again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and SMART, bringing people together.